Well, good morning from Ralph's house. Another day, a fresh year. Yes, it's 2020. Where am I going to start? It's one of those days. Well, I think what I need to do is concentrate on lighting. I have at the moment got the old electric system running here, and I'm going to put the fuse box in later today, as you'll see. Just cut that pipe off. But what I need to do really, I think, is go up in the loft and strip out all the old lighting cable, which all seems to be single wires, not twin and earth, certainly. So I think it was probably done in the 1950s, 60s. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull all that out, so I won't have any lighting upstairs at all. My challenge is to work out how I'm going to go from this fuse box to the upstairs lights. I haven't found a route for that yet. A few possible ways, but I think it's right underneath me now, that fuse box. I think that's a bit of a clue, because why else would you have boards that have been up there if it wasn't for lighting cable? So I think that's going to be my route in, but of course I've got to go up somewhere. So either I can run a new channel, or, as I suspect, the wires may just come up here. It's possible, because the light downstairs for this landing light is right, well, it's exactly beneath that. So my guess is it came up here. But if not, I'm not too bothered. I can just, well, if it comes to it, I'll just run a new channel up here, all the way to the ceiling, loop into the bathroom light, loop into the lights in here, into there, and finish up in the box room. Well, that'll make sense. So that's what I'm going to do today. Right, let's get up in the loft and pull all that cable out. A good thing to carry about when you're doing this kind of work is one of those, because at least you know what's live and what isn't. And when I'm going up in the loft, I have pulled the fuses downstairs, but I still like to check, you know what I mean? I don't like electric shocks particularly. They don't scare me, but I could do without them. In fact, that wire I just showed you on the tester was the wire to the old immersion heater. Old black rubber stuff by the look of it. My hunch was it was this one, this fuse at the end. Pulled that, went upstairs and tested it again. Showed nothing. But just in case, I'll tell you what I did. And you should always do this. Don't take a chance. And when I've just snipped that wire up there and just taped it up for now until I can pull it out. But I'll leave that fuse out because it looks like that's all that was supplying. So I was right. This house is indeed on one single ring circuit. Not ideal. So bare minimum it wants splitting into two. But my feeling is just run the upstairs on radial and then concentrate on running the ring main down here, I think, or a couple of rings. Well, it just shows you things are not wired in this house as I thought. Pulling that fuse did indeed disconnect that immersion heater cable, but with the fuse out and the power back on, the alarm was going off on the stair lift. So that's obviously in the same circuit. So perhaps just as well I've done that. So I've reinstated the fuse for the time being and taped up the cable like this until such times as I can get that cable pulled out. But for now, that's how it'll have to be. Can't really tuck it under the floorboards yet, but at least I know it's there. So that's that sorted. Had an old lead pipe that went down there. It didn't go anywhere, it's just cut off, but it left a sort of bit of a trough in the wall. And because I want to fit the fuse box in that spot there, or maybe even slightly over there. Anyway, it's going the fuse box is going to go above that. Try and make it neat and tidy, and at least keep this wall free then. Yeah, so I've just filled that up, so we will wait a couple of days for that to dry, and by the magic of video, it's gone off. That was quick, wasn't it? Yeah, so that's all set now. And my friend Bob, the electrician, is going to remove that. And what we're going to end up with is just a isolator switch and a double socket, probably screwed up, possibly here, or I don't know, somewhere down the corner here. And then that's all the power that we'll have in the entire house until the new fuse box goes in where that goes. Look, fuse box gone. Well, that's where it was. And all the cables that came in, not all of it's from upstairs, but a lot of it was fed into that fuse box from the top. Some of it through the bottom. There's some trunking underneath here that came up behind the board and went in there. So I've cut all of that off, and those circuits are now stone dead. So, you know, that's progress, isn't it? So, isolator switch down there, double gang socket, so at least now I have power in the property and I can plug in an extension lead as and when I need to use a drill and anything else. Luckily my extension lead's fairly long, so that's not going to hinder me at all. The only downside is if I get a very dull day, I'm going to be a bit stuck for light. So I think get this upstairs lighting circuit all wired in and ready to go, or at least some of it. And then, well, we can start doing putting in the upstairs radial circuit. That's what I decided to do upstairs. Downstairs ring circuits, I think. That's where we're going to go. I'm never going to draw any real current upstairs. And it's still rated up to 20 amps. That's more than enough for what I want. So there you go. That's progress. There you go. There's the old Wilex fuse box. Only had 4 fuses in it. You know, you think how many there is in a modern house now. It really helps if you've got an electrician friend. Bob the electrician. Anyway, we've got the fuse box fixed up now. He's just going to take me off this temporary supply. Well, it's quite handy to have an independent one. It's on its own fuse. But anyway, he's going to start hooking me into that now. And when I've got all my cables through from lighting circuit and from ring circuits, and they're all ready to go in, he'll just come and hook them all in for me and, you know, run all the tests. So that's it, we've upgraded. Unfortunately, there are certain things that crop up that you're not expecting, and for me it was the fact that I'm actually not very well. And I don't know, bad cold, sore throat. It's not man flu, trust me, it's not. I've got no energy at all, and I really didn't sleep very well at all last night. So it'll be light duties today. But a couple of things I wanted to show you, one of which is this. I bought a pair of these steampunk style wall lights, and they'll go great with this beam on this fireplace. Not sure where I'll put them, either in the alcoves or on the side of the fireplace, I don't know, or even on the fireplace, who knows. Don't know yet, but I did like them. And they're not made of plastic, you know, it's all cast fittings. And I thought, well, 15 quid each, they're great, aren't they? Put an Edison type, you know, an LED bulb with a spiral element in it. It'll look just the job when it's up on the wall. The only thoughts I have on this is a metal light fitting. And normally if you've got a metal light fitting, you need an earth. And there is no provision for an earth on here. But I'm going to make sure there is. So on the earth cable I shall put an eyelet, and it'll... I shall clean up some of the metal on the back of this and make sure I've actually got a decent earth connection on the back. I might even drill and tap it for a screw. Don't know yet, but it's certainly going to have an earth connection to it. I'm not having a metal light fitting with no earth on it. Fills me with dread. else now I've disconnected all this lighting circuit is I can work up here unhindered because all this is dead. And I know it's dead because there's nothing going to any fuse box at the moment. Yeah, so that'll be free in a bit. I'll pull that up. But somehow I've got to get a... Oh, yeah, because of course I'm moving this switch to... over here. Just seemed a balmy place to put a landing light. Really. Logic says you would hit it when you came out of there, and that's where it should be. Anyway, so that's where I've put it. But I might have to chase down here yet to run 3-core and earth for 2-way switching. And as well as all the light switches, got to take all these pendants down as well. Again, I can't really pull cables up in the loft if they're anchored to things, so everything needs to be disconnected. These things are, well, they're ancient. And as for that bulb, Philips, what were you thinking of when you invented that thing? Gosh, it's no better than a candle. Thank goodness for LED bulbs, eh, folks? Well, next week, on about, I shall be back again before then, but on about the 10th, it'll be the return of Libby and Steve. Really, to get this rest of this wood chip paper finished. If they can get all the paper off for me, that would be good. And unfortunately, I also have a garage full of about 1,000 books. And despite the fact I've tried to find homes for them, they're literally all going to get burnt. I haven't got any other choice. I just don't have the room for them, and I really need to get the garage cleared now. So unless anybody wants to come along with a trailer and take lots of books, and he was well read, you know, they're all fairly academic books. A lot of poetry in it, which I've already found a home for. That's for Caitlin G. But that's it from Ralph's house for today. Oh, here's the sprayer for getting the paper off. Never ever use a steamer. And I've had 2 decorators tell me that, and the reason why you don't use a steamer for removing wallpaper is the simple, I mean, it's a boiling kettle, so it's hot. And once it gets onto this plaster, the plaster gets really hot, and then as it cools down, it cracks behind. And on old plaster like this, it's likely to fall off the wall, so you don't use that. Soaking it is fine, but do not use a steamer. So this is all going to have to be scratched up so the water can get a bite in it and get behind it, because this stuff's a devil to remove. Anyway, all this paper's got to come off. I think I've done that one. There's just a few bit, well, the ceiling one's doing, that's got to be stripped, but I could probably do that one. All this stuff down the stairs, sorry, low light in here. All this paper's got to come off. Bit of a challenge here. I'm not blaming next door for this, they're lovely people. But the plaster is blown here. And my thinking is, well, if it hasn't fallen off, just leave it well alone. And but if it does come to be a problem and I start having chunks falling off this wall, then I'll use these as a couple of straight edges, fill it up with some bonding plaster, and go with finishing plaster at the end and do the best I can with it. But all this paper's got to come off. This cupboard over the stairs I think it's actually very useful, although it does possibly cut down the light a little bit. But it's got hardboard sides, and they want changing for plasterboard, so I shall cut those to fit, and that'll make a decent airing cupboard to keep sheets and towels and goodness knows what else in. That's my father's idea. That's quite clever, isn't it? Still got to reinstate these banisters. But anyway, that's it for today. If you do like the videos, you look forward to watching them, or you hate them, whichever, you've got a little like button below. And even leave a comment, positive or negative. Or if you've got any tips or ideas or anything that's going to save me an awful lot of time and money, I'm really grateful. So that's it from Ralph's house for today. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe.